Good morning. It is the 16th of March, 2021. 2021, March the 16th, a Tuesday. I had a dream, or as it says in one version of the Bible, Nebuchadnezzar said, I dreamed a dream. As I was going to bed, I was praying pretty earnestly that God would give me a dream about the future of the United States. And this is the future of the United States. No more choice in healthcare. Because they talk about choice, they have all these, well, we're losing choices as far as what we can choose for our insurance because the government, I think that's what's going on. The government can pay it, can pay for insurance at a cheaper rate than the private sector because the government can lose money on it. And the private sector doesn't want to do that. So with Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, we can get health coverage. You know, it's like Obama said, if you like your current health care, if you like current health insurance, you can keep it. And you can for a while, but it's got to the point where, you know, almost no one is offering health care coverage except for the government. And Obama also said, former President Obama also said, I'm for a single payer system. And I asked my aunt, I said, what does that mean, a single payer system? And she said, I think it's where the government pays. You know, I said, yeah, that's what I thought it was. So I dreamed a dream. I was praying pretty earnestly. I prayed for several times. So I want to know about the future of the United States. And the future of the United States, as far as I can tell, is no more choice in health care. When I, as a psychiatric patient, go to get my shot, I don't want the shot. I don't want the government paying the money for the shot. I don't want the government taking money from people to pay for my shot. I don't want my social worker. I don't want a commitment to the state or commitment to my psychiatric institution. I don't want that. I don't want the state to commit me to the psychiatric institution. So they can throw me into what I call prison or a mental institution anytime they want to, and they really can. And they just say, you know, Mark, you know, you're not doing very well. We're concerned about you. They like to say things like, you're not doing well. We're concerned about you. I've heard this before. You know, they'll say, well, you know, how are you doing? And I said, well, I don't know. You know, and I'm trying to, I don't want to play that game anymore, but they say, how are you doing? And I said, well, you know, I think I'm doing all right. I think I'm doing well. It's any man's guess. You know, when they say, how do you think you're doing? You just say, well, I think you think I'm not doing well. And I tried to avoid the question. The next time I'll just say, I have no idea what's going through your mind, because that's basically with the truth. Because it's just based on nothing. So I had a dream. I mean, I really believe that. I absolutely believe that. People say you're not doing well or you're doing well. It's based on nothing. I had somebody from a psychiatric institution say, I like this Mark, I don't like the other Mark. I like this Mark, I don't like the other Mark. And so, as a psychiatric patient, we don't have a choice in the medicine we receive. We don't have a choice what's done to us. If a psychiatric institution were to say, Mark, you think you're a woman. And I said, well, no, I think I'm a man. Oh, but you did this, you did knitting or whatever, and you think you're a woman. then what they could do, or what they might be able to do, which I say the future of medicine is from the dream. The future of medicine in the United States is, we think you're a woman, or we think you think you're a woman, or whatever. So the best thing is, it's affecting your psychiatric state. So the best thing to do is to change you into a woman. Do the surgery, do the pills, and you get a high voice or whatever, and you lose your facial hair and all that stuff, your body hair. We think you're a woman, or we think you should be a woman. Then they do it against your will. They do it against your will, and that's that's about how psychiatry works. It doesn't make sense. I think a lot of people think psychiatry is based on science. There might be some science mixed in. I guess there's some science mixed in, but mostly it's just, we feel and we think, and it's not based on reality. It's not based on reality. It's not based on logic. I had a psychiatrist tell me psychiatry is not really like science. It's more like art. Art. You're using the government money, and you're bothering me, putting me on a drug that is supposed to shorten my life. Like psychiatric drugs are supposed to shorten people's lives. And you're doing this because of art? Anyway, so the dream was that I couldn't sleep. And I think I said I go to sleep like 2, 3, 4, 5. I usually don't go to sleep until at 5, and my sleeping is better than what it used to be. But I had a dream, and I could not go to sleep until like about 5. I said the time you wake up is the time I go to sleep. And my mother was there, and a doctor was there. I think it could be my psychiatric nurse that I have. I have a psychiatric nurse instead of a psychiatric doctor. And she said, we want to do surgery on you. It was a new type of surgery. It was less invasive. I forget what it was called, or whether it was called anything. It was a dream. In the dream, it was a dream where I was going through surgery. And I said, I don't want surgery. It's going to try you on this other pill, other drug or something like that. And they had to do surgery to figure out what was wrong so they could justify putting me on another drug, on a different drug. And I said, I don't want surgery. I don't want this. And when they first said it, they acted like they were playing and they weren't going to do it. And I didn't catch that they were playing. And I thought, they sounded like they were playing. I thought, well, this sounds like they're going to do this. They're going to do surgery on me against my will. So they were putting me down. They were putting me out. They were giving me anesthesia. And they're going to do surgery on me to figure out whether this new drug would work for me. I kept saying, I don't want this. I don't want this. And she kept offering words to say, you need this. You will get this. And I was going out of consciousness and getting surgery against my will. And I think when it comes to in the United States, when it comes to gender reassignment surgery, when it comes to cancer or whatever, you won't have a choice. Because I prayed to God about this. I think he gave me the answer. The answer is you won't have a choice. The future of the United States is you won't have a choice in your medicine. If they say you have heart problems and you say, I don't think I have heart problems, They say, we're the doctor, we know better than you, we're forcing you to have this surgery just because for your own benefit, it would say. Against your will. You don't know what's good for you. We do, and we will force you to have surgery, or you will force you to take these pills. You will be held down, and this will be administered to you whether you like it or not. Whether you like it, this will be administered to you. And that from the dream, it seems like I was asking God, what will be the future of the United States? And it seemed like that will be it. That choices will be made for you in your medical conditions. They will decide for you what's wrong and what to do about it. And if they lie or something like that, I'm thinking about the future of the United States as a communist country. They will decide what is good for you. They will decide whether you should have testicles. They will decide whether you have breast cancer and you need your breast taken off. They will decide, if it's a one breast taken off or two breasts taken off. They will decide whether you're male. They will decide whether you're female. That kind of thing. I use that as an example just to kind of say what I'm trying to say, because it's hard to describe what I'm trying to say. But I'm saying if they say a female is a male, or we say a male is a female, and you say no, I'm not. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of medicine where, like let's say you get a big splinter in your toe and they cut off your leg above your knee. That's the kind of medicine I'm talking about. And I think God has shown me that that's the kind of medicine, because that's what I prayed for. That's the kind of medicine that will be administered. You don't have a choice. We know what's better for you. It's the same thing as a communist model. The communist model says that the free market is bad. And there are people that say that the Soviet Union was not communist. It might not have been the kind of thing you wanted, people wanted, but it was communist because they had a black market where they would sell things that they weren't allowed to, or supposedly weren't allowed to sell. It was a black market because they were officially not allowed to buy or sell. And it was illegal, and there are people that went to the Soviet Union that can tell you this is what it was like. John Stossel went to the Soviet Union. He said, look, you can't. You had certain elites that went to certain restaurants, certain elites that went to nice restaurants, and other people couldn't get in, and meant for foreigners and Russian dignitaries. But anyway, the future of medicine is the doctor knows better than you do, so shut up and accept what the doctor says. You're not a doctor. Like the idea of God, of saying God will heal me. A lot of people don't like that concept. They say, yes, God is God and God is great and everything like that. But when you really are sick, you want a doctor, not God. It's harsh truth, but it's true. When you're sick, you want a doctor, you don't want God. You want God to go to heaven in the end, but right now you need a doctor, not a God. Because it's the same thing. It's kind of a communist attitude too, I think. You're sick, you need a doctor. You don't need God. God will not save you. God will not help you. There is no God, that kind of thing. A lot of people, the idea, like, let's say, if I have some cancer or anything like that, and I say, well, God will save me from that. That's considered naivete. That's considered the wrong way of looking at something. When Jesus was around and they looked to Jesus, the Son of God, that was to a lot of people, that was the wrong way of looking at things. There was Asa in the Bible, and Asa had a disease in his feet. And the Bible says he didn't seek God, but only doctors. And that's a lesson for those who are able to receive it. For those who are able to receive it. I remember hearing one man, he said, when I meet someone, I cannot assume the presence of faith. I must assume the absence of faith. So anyway, this idea, I want my own choice in my medicine. God can save me or something like that. God can save me, or I don't want this type of procedure. It's not your choice anymore. You're a pawn, or it won't be your choice apparently anymore. You're a pawn, and you're just like my psychiatrist decisions are made for myself. Am I crazy? Well, that's somebody else's decision. What's going on in my mind? Well, that's something. What needs to be done about what's going on in my mind? That's somebody else's decision. Asking questions? Are you suicidal? Are you do you want to hurt somebody else or others? Or have you been depressed? Have you been sad, not having energy? Have people notice you will moving too quickly or moving too slowly? Those kind of questions they're not. I have to answer them. They're not my choice whether I can answer them or not. That's what I'm talking about coercive medicine. They talk about coercive treatment. They're talking about coercive treatment. It's not my choice whether I'm a social worker over here. I'm forced to have a social worker over here because the judge said, you are committed to this institution and you must comply with treatment. If you don't talk to the social worker, if you don't talk to the psychiatrist, I imagine if you don't talk to even just one of them, you can get into serious trouble because they'll say, well, his mind isn't working very well because he's not answering me. Why won't he answer me? Now, if I ask questions, I asked my psychiatrist, I had a psychiatric doctor, I said, are you a Christian? And I smiled because I knew she wasn't. And she wasn't because she didn't confess Christ. And she said, I'm not here. I ask the questions, you answer them. She basically said, I ask the questions, you answer them. I don't have to answer questions, I'm a psychiatric doctor. There's no business for me being a psychiatric patient. They proved nothing in court, and the judge went along with it anyway. So, if you think I'm crazy, you can think I'm crazy. But you don't have to prove anything in court. You don't have to prove anything in court. You just have to make scenarios and suppositions and claims, just stories, whatever type of story you want to make up. That's what you have to do to get a commitment. That's what you have to do to get so-called treatment. And the word pharmacy and pharmaceutical are from the same root in the Greek. It basically means drugs, just like the illegal drugs that are sold on the street. Pharmacy just comes from the word for drugs and really for potions. It's like pharmacy, as far as I know, relates to the word of witches' potions. It's the idea of a witch putting the eye of newt into the pot and whatever else into the pot. Hair of somebody and putting these things in the pot and making a potion and making somebody drink it. That's where the idea of pharmacy came from. And we used to call it a drugstore. And we used to call, and I think some people still do, and we used to call the one that worked in the drugstore a druggist. So I better end this. All right. God bless you. It is the 16th of March, 2021, Tuesday, 2021, March.